For those who came of age during India's early liberalisation years, the fear of credit rating agencies remains fresh. A jumble of alphabets, AAA, BB, junk, decided the fate of entire economies. AAA meant cheap capital and global approval, anything below, and it meant that the economy was effectively punished. India lived through it repeatedly during 1990s and early 2000s. Despite India's size and scale, it had no control over the process or the product. India was not alone. The non-Western world, the global South, was reduced to a mute spectator. A few judged the many. But India is now pushing back. India's response is formal, the Responsible Nations Index (RNI), India's answer to Western moral policing. A framework that asks who behaves responsibly in the world, not who lectures the loudest. The index rests on three pillars: internal responsibility, the justice and dignity, environmental responsibility, sustainability and stewardship, external responsibility, peace, cooperation and stability. Responsibility is a privilege. How do you measure vaccine diplomacy, humanitarian missions, disaster relief? Western ratings never did. India will. The RNI will evaluate 154 countries using transparent global data. For the first time, the world will be evaluated through the lens of the global South.
फैमिली इंस्टीट्यूशन कि भारत में कितना एज है जब आप माता पिता का घर छोड़ते हैं, जीवन भर नहीं छोड़ते हैं, 100 साल का हो जाएंगे खुद ही माता पिता का घर नहीं छोड़ता है, मरने के बाद भी नहीं छोड़ता है। तो सर्टेन पैरामीटर्स हैं जिस पे ये इंडेक्सिंग की जाती है। वो पैरामीटर्स भारतीय दृष्टि से देखेंगे या बाकी देशों की दृष्टि से देखेंगे तो फ्लॉड हैं, अनसाइंटिफिक हैं, और सब देशों को इंक्लूडिंग भारत हमको अपने इंडेक्सिंग के साथ आना चाहिए। और अगर कोई संस्था इंडेक्सिंग कर रही है भारत में भारतीय पर्सपेक्टिव से दुनिया भर का, तो उसका स्वागत भी होना चाहिए।
The roots of the Western rating system go back to World War II and the Bretton Woods system of the IMF and the World Bank. By the 1970s, three private firms came to dominate the ratings. Cut welfare, privatize open markets, or faced downgrades. This is where the RNI differs from the traditional indices. While traditional indices focused on power and economic dominance, RNI will focus on ethics, value-based leadership. For the West, ratings had become instruments of pressure-forcing policy alignment with the Western priorities. A system many call rigged, where sovereignty came at a cost. Examples are many: Argentina's collapse, Greece debt crisis, Brazil punished during impeachment.
Now, if we come up with our own, how will other countries or other pension funds of other countries or insurance companies of other countries which have, or sovereign wealth funds which want to invest in Indian bonds or equity, how will they compare India to other possible competitive countries, meaning they should invest in India or in Korea or in Taiwan or in Singapore. So the point is, India coming up with its own rating system, India can go ahead and do it, but it's not going to make much of an impact on the behavior of investment institutions, which are called foreign portfolio investors in India.
During COVID, 95% of downgrades hit developing nations, even as the West suffered deeper economic damage. The bias was no longer subtle. That's why resistance is growing.
An impact globally. So we will wait to see similarly how much of an impact India's own rating system will have. What India must not attempt to do is to substitute global indices with Indian indices, because Indian indices may or may not be accepted globally, because the global indices are used for very specific purposes. And ultimately, India will have to spend a lot of time trying to convince other countries of the world about the value, the technical value or the political value of its own new rating system or indices of whatever kind.
The new development bank offered loans without IMF sermons. Russia built its own agencies. China rated itself AAA. The global south began asserting its voice.